If this last week for you being a virtual student was challenging, I'm going to say, welcome to the club. I too was a virtual online student for the last 2 years when I was getting my master's degree at Arizona State University. So I thought it might be a good idea to walk you through some of the things that I learned about being a virtual student that might also help you because you might be questioning why is being online and so much harder than being in class? It's because it's something new. Now, this is the online platform that I used at Arizona State University. It's something called Canvas. And for some of you, you may have already seen it. You may have been using it at Ames or through UNC. But this is what I would say is something like Infinite Campus plus a class website plus Google Classroom, and it's all combined. And here, my instructors would post announcements. And this is a lot like what we do through Google Classroom, where we would, it's a part of your stream. So these are announcements, right? They would post their syllabus like we do on our websites, and they would post work. This is how each module or each unit was split up. And here, I'll just mark on module 2 here, and you can see. So there was required readings, videos, PowerPoints. And so what I would do is, as a virtual student, is I would make sure that I felt very comfortable with the online platform before I moved forward. So my first question for you is, do you know how to use Google Classroom? Because if you don't know how to use Google Classroom yet, if you don't know how to navigate your teacher's websites, if you don't know how to, or you haven't set up your wildra5j.org email account, I would definitely start there because that might be getting in your way. Now, let's talk about some things that virtual students should do daily, even on your weekend. One is to check Google Classroom. This is how RHS teachers are communicating with you. So they're assuming that you are checking the announcements and coursework. So you may want to check Google Classroom 2 to 3 times a day. Making sure that the Google Classroom app is set up to send you notifications would definitely be valuable. So let me show you how easy that is. So here's your iPad. Somewhere on your iPad, well, not your iPad, okay? Okay. So here's an iPad. Here's settings. You're going to click on settings. In settings, you're going to scroll down to where you see Classroom. You're going to click on notifications. You're going to make sure that you allow notifications, and that will make it so that when teachers post anything to Google Classroom, you will know. The other thing to do is to check your welldiary5j.org email. All of those Infinite Campus posts and announcements that are being sent to your parents and to you are going to come through your school district email. So again, you're going to want to make sure that it is you give the permission to send notifications through your settings. So find Gmail. Again, you may have to set up the Gmail account on your iPad. Click on notifications. Make sure that you allow them so in that way you get those notifications. Now, for some people, the reason why they hate notifications is it comes with sounds. So turn off the sounds, but then you at least still get notifications in your lock screen or notification centers, and of course, the banners. Now, some students have asked me, well, what do you think makes a good student? Well, there are a lot of things that make a good student a good virtual student, but there's also some differences. So let me reiterate what makes a good virtual student. Number one, they read the directions. They read the directions again, and sometimes then they copy and paste the directions to a Google Doc so they can print out the directions. So let's say that you need to do that on Google Classroom, right? So here I am on Google Classroom. If I wanted to keep this material, I could copy it, I could paste it to a Google Doc, and then I could make sure to save it to my class folder. This means that all of the things that I need for that class are right there where I need them in my Google Drive. Now, I want to reiterate that reading the directions is going to ensure that you complete the work assigned in a timely and effective manner. And once you've done that, if you have questions, only then should you really be emailing your teachers. Because if you haven't read the directions, if you haven't checked Google Classroom, well, it doesn't make it look like you're being a good virtual student. So make sure you do that. And if and when you have to email your teacher, keep in mind some of the following. You should really email your teachers between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. because then you will be ensured that they're going to be checking those emails. Most teachers get to Roosevelt anywhere in between 6:30 and 7 a.m. So that means one of the first things they're going to do is see your email. Please put your name and class period in the subject line. This makes it so much easier for your teachers to figure out which class you're questioning, if they have to update Infinite Campus for any reason, and it helps us keep our emails organized. Have an opening, like "Good morning, Mrs. Borson," or "Hello, Mrs. Borson." Well, don't do that for all your teachers, but it's really good to have something open your email. Be kind in your email. Be specific. Have a closing like "Thank you," or "Have a great day," or "I look forward to hearing from you." And always, no matter what kind of email you're sending, whether that's to your teacher or professionally, have an email signature, your first and last name, your email address, and if you feel comfortable, put your cell phone number on there. Sometimes when I want to help a student with a project or a question that they have, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for me to give them a quick call and guide them through it than it is for me to write a 3 paragraph long email trying to give them directions in writing. Sometimes it's just nice to hear someone's voice. Another thing a good virtual student does is turn in their Google Classroom assignments. Now, a good virtual student will even turn in assignments late, and sometimes that's going to be okay, but it's always in your best interest to apologize to the teacher when you notice that the assignment is late. It just, again, is one of those skills that I see good students doing in the classroom, but when you're a virtual student, you can do that as well. And please ask your friends for help. A good virtual student will host their own Zoom meetings to work through assignments with their friends. So you might be asking me, how am I navigating being your virtual teacher? I'm trying to communicate as clearly as possible. That's why my Google Classroom posts are so long. I'm emailing your parents pretty much the same things I'm posting for you. I've been adjusting when I need to. For example, I tried to use Flipgrid and the app wasn't working, so I changed the platform to be more user friendly. I am really working on developing my skills of being a little bit more flexible, which is hard to develop because I am way more comfortable being in control and planning an entire semester out before it even starts. But I'm working on it and I'm trying to reach students in ways that will keep you engaged. You know, I'm trying to stay on top of grading as much as possible. It does take me, I would say, probably 5 times as long to grade in a virtual world than it did in the classroom. So please keep in mind that I'm going to be updating grades as quickly as I can. And sometimes it's common for students to not know that you have a missing assignment until it goes into the grade book. And, I'm willing to change grades and attendance if it makes sense to the student in the assignment. But sometimes a zero in the grade book is what a student needs to get motivated. I will also respond to emails as soon as I can. If I have any problems with you, I will try to contact you first. Really, I only contact parents if I need to because I can't get a hold of you. And sometimes parents are really great at giving me your cell phone number so I can reach out to you. By the way, I am trying to become the best teacher possible. And so I'm reaching out to my mentors and my colleagues to ensure that that is something that I'm doing. I'm continually learning and getting training to become a better virtual teacher. Well, I hope this tutorial helped you. And because you watched it, I'm going to give you an extra credit opportunity. But this only happens if you watch the entire video. Here is the extra credit. What are 3 things that you learned from this video? And or What is something that you are going to try to do to become a better virtual student? I need 3 things total to give you that extra credit, but I hope that this tutorial really helped you out. Have a great rest of your day.